Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and being a part of this live. We are talking all about my husband's new book that just came out on May 20th. It is called Guide. He is a leadership coach. He is, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw where I shared he's an engineer. He's a man of God. He's obviously a husband. He's a father, a small business owner. And he's just a great resource for us. I know that I have a ton of Bible beauties who typically tune in and watch my channel. And we have a man on the channel. So I want to also honor you and honor what we typically talk about on our channel, this channel. So feel free to ask whatever questions you have throughout our conversation. Just drop those in the chat. We are both happy to answer. And I hope Sean knows, or Demetri knows, that he's on the hot seat tonight. So don't be shy. Ask whatever you have to ask. I thank everybody who submitted questions online. And without further ado, we are going to bring on Demetri. Hey, boo, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Well, will you let me know in the chat if you have any issues hearing Sean or hearing me? Also, we just got to get that cleared right now because I call Sean Sean. Sean's name is Demetri. So you're going to hear me say Sean throughout. So I apologize. Just know that Sean is the same person as Demetri. So, hey, babe, thanks so much for being here. How has your day been?
Hello, the day has been great. I've had a great day. Busy day, but things have been great. So thank you very much for having me on. I greatly appreciate it. I've been wondering when I was going to get my time to come on and shine.
You're always welcome to join, love. Jordan says that the sound is good, so thank you. Sean, I can see the comments. You can't, or usually if I'm on StreamYard as a guest, I can't see the comments. Are you able to see the comments?
I'm not able to see the comments.
All right, no worries. I got you covered. And some of them I'll just be able to I'll just share directly on the screen so you will be able to see them. But yes, I was saying you're always welcome on the channel. Someone mentioned earlier, I was watching a live and she said she'll be joining. There she is. Hi, Daily Dale. And she said that she's like, has he ever been on the channel? We do have a Q&A together about our relationship. We did a Christian couples Q&A. I linked that in the description box so you can watch that. There's about him. But this is the first time that he's been on live. So again, just thank you for coming, and congratulations on your book, which is what we'll spend our time talking about for the most part. Before we get into that, some people are saying that they are watching the commercials. Thank y'all so much for not skipping the ads. Feel free to do so whenever we're going live. I appreciate it though, Miss Daily Dale. So, Demetri, tell us about you, but really about your business, and then we'll dive into the book.
Yeah, so Demetri Woods, husband to the wonderful Yasmin Williams Wood. So, of course, that's exciting in itself. So, a little bit about my background. So, originally from Tennessee. So, this is home for me. Been here mostly all of my life, kind of moved around throughout the corporate world with different roles, but it of course landed me back here in Tennessee. So I am so my career has been in manufacturing leadership. As Yasmin said, I am actually an electrical engineer by
I got it wrong.
That's okay.
I knew that because I always get it wrong, y'all. I am the worst. All right. Demetri is an electric engineer. I'll explain more why I get that wrong later, but go.
Yeah, so throughout my career, I've mostly served in very high, fast-paced manufacturing settings. So that is kind of my professional background. So I started Identify Leadership is the name of my business around the late 2019 timeframe. So Identify Leadership is a small corporate and small business development company. So so what we like to say is our aim is specifically focused on leadership development, mostly again in the corporate spaces, but we also work with small businesses, and we also work with individuals. So if you're someone that could possibly be an executive or an entrepreneur, those are the type of spaces that we serve in. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit in a nutshell. And of course, I'm a father of four.
Sweet. So you mentioned Identify Leadership. You're for the corporate world and small businesses. You also do some individual coaching. What other services do you provide besides now this book that we can go grab and purchase on Amazon or website too, right?
Yes. So our services are specifically, again, team building, coaching. So we do things like conferences, workshops, also strategy planning is something that we do. And we're also looking to do things in terms of like risk mitigation strategies. However, we also serve in the university and college space, where we work with college students, specifically senior college student that's about to enter the workforce, whether that's going to be entering, corporate America, or whether that's going to be overall entrepreneur. So those are some of the spaces that we serve in, and of course we do things in terms of like keynote speaking.
Awesome. So I think we're ready to get into the book. Y'all, if you would just do me a huge favor, Jordan, you were a great help earlier. Just let me know if there are any issues with sound or connectivity along the way. And we'll do our best to quickly rectify those. So hearing you talk about Identify Leadership, which y'all, his links to his website, links to the book on Amazon, all of that is in the description box. But hearing you talk about just the customer or the ideal client for Identify Leadership gets me into the book. What is the title of your book? Why did you write the book?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to say, thank you again for allowing me to not only share my business but to share the book. And specifically, Yasmin, I would like to thank you specifically for the time, the space, and the opportunity to write the book. Of course, maybe a year ago, I spent quite a few nights in Starbucks after long days, starting to really journal and really start writing the book. So the name changed quite a few times during the process, but we landed on a name. The book is called Guide. Specifically, it's called Guide. Uh, what the team wants, what leaders expect, and what the organization needs. Specifically, I landed specifically on that title for a few reasons. Number one is I wanted to cover what I like to call the three pillars of leadership. Again, really looking at the team, really looking at the organization, and then really looking at the individual contributor. And specifically, we landed on the name God, or I landed on the name God. I wanted to specifically provide value to just individuals, teams, organizations on how you could really guide them through, not only day-to-day business, but maybe life challenges. So some of the things that I learned over the years, I was very transparent in the book. So some of the struggles that I had throughout my life and throughout my career, I was really able to really share those things, specifically as lessons learned. What I wanted to do specifically with this book is to allow someone to be guided, not to have the same challenges, and maybe necessarily break down some roadblocks for the reader. also with this book, it's a very unique book. So looking at many books that's out in the marketplace, so this is not to discredit any author out there. However, books are typically principles that really trick a thought process. However, I would do with this book is really to give hard core principles, so you're able to really utilize those principles into actions. So not only is it a book, but it's also a workbook. So at the end of each chapter, there's a reflection piece, and there's also an action piece. Again, to really utilize what you learned through the chapter to really put in some key actions. So, very excited about those things.
Nice. I want to know, you said a few things I want to respond to, but I also want to know who is the book for. Before you answer that question, you mentioned the pillars, the 3 pillars of leadership. Will you tell us what those are?
Yes. Again, the 3 pillars of leadership. So typically, um, if we look at leadership, leadership can sometimes be defined as someone who leads. However, what we all must recognize is we can all be leaders, right? So you don't necessarily have to lead others to be a leader. So again, those 3 pillars of leadership is, of course, the organization. Specifically, I wanted to really serve each team. So that may be a very small team, that may be a very large team, and again, the overall individual contributor who may or may not be specifically um, leading others.
Got it. So with that, who is the book for?
Yeah, so the book is actually for, I think, again, I wanted to go well outside of what my norm would be, which is, of course, the corporate space. And I really wanted to serve um, many different spaces. Again, really looking at my business model, Identify Leadership, serving again in that corporate space, but also really reaching out to a lot of the things that I shared in the book was a lot of my college experiences that I really wanted to share specifically again for those maybe future workplace leaders that could really learn a lot of key principles on really how to accelerate either your career or just your overall work ethic. Specifically, a lot faster maybe than I did over the years. So we share, and we'll get. I'm sure we'll get into this, but we share things like how to effectively communicate, how to manage up, how to manage your time. So those are some of the principles that we share in the book.
Awesome. We just got a great question from one of our faves, L Dejon or Daywan. I'm so sorry, I butcher it. I'm gonna post it in a second, but I had a question I don't want to forget. I appreciate y'all's patience and just knowing that I am a whole hot mess. All right, so the question is, and I know everybody can see it, but I'm still going to read it. It is, as a husband, do you feel leadership is equally important in both the home and the workspace? How did you find balance, and can this apply to entrepreneurs who are not in the corporate space?
Yeah, so I get that question a lot. Specifically, of I have a extremely, and Yasmin can speak to this. It's extreme, very high demanding corporate role, and also having a business and things like writing a book, and of course having four children. I feel definitely that leadership in the home is definitely equally or just as more important. One of the things that I've shared with Yasmin is, I really look for my home to be definitely very stable, definitely excelling in those areas because for me to go out and do the things that I do, I really need my home to be thriving. So I definitely think that leadership at home is definitely as important as any other space. So thank you for the question. Very good question. Now, second part, how do you find balance? So I think that it's very, just transparently, it's been very hard for me to find balance because early on in marriage and children, I feel like I was failing miserably. I was doing extremely well in the corporate space because that's where I was allocating all my time. Um, However, at home, I feel like I was failing. I felt like I was missing so many things with the kids. Um, so balance, really something that I've really learned from Yasmin is really to set boundaries around your time, specifically like for family. Sometimes, we hate to say like no, but just knowing that no is an answer. So something that I share in the book is I really set calendar alerts for absolutely everything. So I set calendar alerts for, the time that I'm going to, be at work each and every day. I set calendar alerts for lunch. I set calendar alerts for leisure time. If I'm going to have a one-to-one with someone, I'll set a calendar alert for that. And are those things able to change? Absolutely. But again, it really goes around boundaries. So if I have a set schedule, set time, I even set time for traveling home. So I know exactly how much time, within reason that it's going to take me to get home and really start spending time with the family. So I really like to use those type of management tools to really help manage my time because time management is exceptionally important in order for you to have any type of balance. So
And
hopefully
then
that answers your
the
question.
last part of that question. Yeah, I think that's helpful. And the last part of it is, can this book apply to entrepreneurs who are not in the corporate space?
Yes, absolutely. Right. So no matter what space you're in, you have to effectively communicate. Um, no matter what space you're in, you have to really learn how to manage up. Right. So if you're, let's just say, an entrepreneur, and the grind of entrepreneurship. So that's one of the really the key characteristics that I share in the book. Having a background again in the corporate space, um, being an entrepreneur, I really had to start all over again. So I had to humble myself. I had to go out and get mentors. Yasmin really operates in the entrepreneur space, of course, exceptionally well. So I'm consistently asking questions. I'm consistently, also, there's a chapter in the book that is called Forever a Learner. So specifically, just to make sure that you're learning no matter what level you're at, is something that I've learned over the years that I really want to share with others, to really apply, again, no matter what space they're in.
I love it. Thanks, Jordan, for this. She says it helps her manage the expectation of how her husband's day time will be structured in the marriage for sure. And that makes me think of another question. Also, like I had an icebreaker because our good friends over at Obedience Podcast are like the queens of icebreakers. So we'll kind of work backwards, and I'll do that in a second here. But the conversation is going really well. Would you say, okay, so when we talk about who the book is for, and obviously there are a lot of Bible beauties who watch and who are in the chat now. If I'm a stay-at-home mom, if I am oh my goodness, glory to God, thank you. I'm gonna share what just happened. You are just a gift from God. But so if I'm a mom, if I'm a wife, if I'm a single woman, if I am just a Christian out here and I'm trying to find my purpose, I'm trying to find my leadership, is your book applicable? Like, how can your book benefit? Or is it a book that I just want to go buy for my husband or buy for the men in my life? How does your book apply to our audience?
Yes, so I could definitely answer that question exceptionally easy. And it really goes with the mission of our company, which is aligning position with purpose, or aligning purpose with position. Again, no matter what position you're in, this book is really to help you see the bigger picture, really help align purpose. So again, this book will be for a entrepreneur like Yasmin Williams Woods, who um, is focused on the journey with God and really how that really fits into your life. So specifically with that is one of the things that I really hit on quite a few times in the book is this book is really to really also really gear around the journey, right? So I talk about the journey of specifically how there's the saying that says if you want God to laugh, you tell him your plans, right? So I really talk specifically about how I had it all planned out. This is the way life was going to be for me, and it has been nothing um, as I planned. However, what it has been is it's been a journey that stretched me far beyond I would have ever imagined. And also, I really share how God's plans were so much better than my plans. And that's something that I really think will really resonate with anyone that's really reading the book.
Awesome. Thank you. That's very helpful. I've been thinking about, like, Father's Day is right around the corner. So I'm like, it is a good gift for just even the men in our lives, like your dad and, my brother-in-laws, all the things, your brother. So if you're feeling like, I don't want to read a book written by a man, because I went through a season where I was like, I only read books written by women. If that's you, this is really a great gift to get for the men in your life. And so LJ Jean sold into your ministry, your business, Sean.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep. Feel led. And I just have to read. I'm so sorry, y'all. Feel led to sow into your ministry as a husband, father, and leader.
Oh,
Be
thank
blessed
you.
in Jesus' name.
God bless
Amen.
you.
Love y'all. Yes, yes. Such a gift. Thank you so much. All right. So we've been talking a lot about marriage and relationships, which kind of goes into or just how you lead as a husband, which goes into the icebreaker that I failed to do at the beginning. So we're gonna go back, and then I have more questions that we got from Instagram, and I want to talk about aligning purpose with position, because when you named your business Identify Leadership, I love it, and I want you to talk more about that too. And then when you created your tagline, I was just like, I done married somebody smart out here in these streets. I know he got a couple of degrees, but as a lover of words, I was like, this tagline and what it means when you communicate that, it's just really powerful and strong. So I want you to speak to that, but let me go ahead and hello, Ashley. So glad you're here. Let me go into the icebreaker. So it's just you're going to vote me or yourself. Okay? Like the game we played at our wedding.
Okay.
I guess it's going to be hard to point because we're on the screen. So just say it. Okay.
I'll just say,
who cleans more?
You.
I agree, but I don't necessarily think I clean the best or most efficient. Perhaps y'all have heard me say that Sean or Demetric, he when he cleans on the weekend, he cleans so fast and it's so well done. He gets the whole house clean. I can't do it the way he does. Who's the better cook?
Definitely you.
You've been cooking lately. Who said okay, let me move around. Who spends more money?
Me.
Facts. I was talking about this earlier on Daily Dale's Live, how you spend money. Who's the early bird?
Me.
Yes. Sean is up at 3:30, 4 o'clock every morning. Y'all know I get up at 5, and that's early for me. My mother's answering. She's saying, Yasmin, Sean. I love it. Jordan. Yes, feel free to answer along My mom kind of has an advantage. She knows these questions. Who loads? This is for all the Bible beauties who watch all the time. Who loads the dishwasher better?
Definitely not me. You.
And look, before I even asked the question, Kendall had to, just don't touch the dishwasher. Facts.
Yeah. Every time I touch the dishwasher, I'm in trouble.
Anybody touches the dishwasher. My mother was here last week and she did something too, and I think we had a little moment. Who works harder?
Keep myself out of trouble. You.
No, speak your truth. Who works harder?
I think we both work hard.
Jordan says both as well. I agree. I honestly think that you work harder in terms of like traditional work and like getting things in work. Like, you know, I told you the other day, I just have a different skill set, and work in the traditional understanding is not it. Everybody's saying Sean in the work on the work things. Thanks. Thanks, Kendall, for giving me some credit there. My mother said yes to both. Oh, Sonny says good, safe answer. And then the who said I love you first? And then there's one more after this. Who said I love you first?
Me.
That is not true. You think you did?
Possibly.
I think you loved me first. I mean, because I think you loved me at first sight. Period. So, but I said it first because I'm more of a verbal, emotional lover of love. I think I did. I just assumed I said it first. And then the last question, who's more patient?
Definitely you.
Fine. I think we have different strengths in different areas. But if you want to go broad, in patience, I guess me. But there are moments where you definitely are more patient, which is big because your patience is interesting. All right. Thank y'all so much for indulging for the icebreaker. So thanks so much, Daily Dale. We do both work extremely hard, which I know I wanted to talk about aligning purpose, but that gets to one of the questions that was posed on Instagram. And it is, I'm gonna have to hide that other banner. It says, how do you navigate life when you're both ambitious? Is there competition?
So navigating life when you're both ambitious, I think it goes back to time management, right? So we've not always necessarily been the best at specifically planning. However, I think that we're starting to do a lot better job with specifically communicating. So things like what's coming up for the week, what's on our plates for the month. We're both extremely ambitious, so that is very challenging in our home. Yeah, so I'm someone who I want it and I want it now. So that's really something I also share in the book is really understanding again that life is not a race, it's a journey, right? So understanding that the things that I want now, God may not have for me now, and really again really looking back on life and understanding that there was times that I wanted to give up, there was times that I wanted to quit, there was times that I said I'm going to throw my hands up and do something else, and God was able to really keep me on the course, and you look back and you've learned all these things that again with the book that I really want to share. So I think it will be highly effective for whomever's going to read the book.
Yeah, and shout out to you for like going back to the book. Like you're ready for these interviews. You're like in the book because we're here to talk about the book.
Watched a lot of interviews on how to stay on task.
I'm here for it because people like myself and Sunny will be all over the place. So I want to answer this question. Thanks so much for submitting it. To Sean's point, now we sit down every Sunday, whether we're like doing other tasks while we're talking through, and it's literally for the week, what's on each day for everybody. My mom was just here. It's like, okay, where does she have to go? Who's taking her? Everything, all the kids, what is everybody doing for the next 7 days? And what do you need from me in that process? So that helps with the communication piece that Sean's speaking to. And then, is there competition? You didn't answer that directly. I don't think there's competition. Do you think there's competition?
No, I don't think there's competition. So one of the things that I've continued to really pray about over the years is I'm very competitive. So I'm sure Yasmin thinks, this guy is like, he's either really weird or he's really crazy. So there's absolutely every week I do something extremely intentional, which is, so I was, I won't say what year I was born, but I was a huge fan of Michael Jordan in the 90s Bulls, right? So I'm sure maybe your significant other has really watched the Bulls series. So there was a 10-part series that I have planned in the background. And I'm sure my wife is like, why does he watch that or listen to that every week? And I'm really not watching it. And it's a mindset. It's a mindset for, and I shared it in the book for what. So if anyone says Michael Jordan, the automatic thought process is excellence and greatness. So when I'm at home in my office and I'm hearing, ultimately what I'm feeding into my mind is greatness, excellence. So of course we all know extremely how ambitious and competitive Michael Jordan was. And ultimately, I'm feeding that also into my brain, not to be competitive with my wife, but just be competitive, with whatever I'm doing. So I guess to specifically answer your question, I don't think that we're competitive with each other. However, I've also, lastly, I would say specifically like social media, right? So if you go on social media, you may see someone, if you're trying to be in the same space as them, and the pictures in the videos look, like, hey, they're doing extremely well. And I've had this before, and I feel like, hey, I'm at ground zero, and this person may be at level 10. You have to really make sure that you're looking at those things the right way, because it could feed negativity in your spirit. So you want to make sure that you're being competitive, but being competitive in the right way, is what I would say with that.
Cool. I didn't know you watched it every week. I thought you watched it every day, because I feel like whenever I walk into your office, it's on, and I'm just confused because I'm like, we watched this when it first came out. And I don't like to rewatch things, but yes. And Michelle, I'm gonna get to this question. Great question. Let me just say on the competition part and how do we navigate both being ambitious. I don't Sean is competitive, not with me, but just I don't know if it's a man thing. I'm not competitive at all. I know going into, we just went bowling. I know I'm going to lose. I love to play games, but I'm never going to win. And that's okay with me. So similarly in life, I'm ambitious. I want to achieve. I want to walk in the purpose God has given me. I just want to please God. And so I'm not competitive, but I feel when it comes to my work is more like, if I get frustrated, it's because I really want to just honor God and please God in my work. And if I feel like I'm not at the point, then that can be frustrated. But then I'm reminded that I'm going to be where God wants me to be when God wants me to be there. And I don't doubt for a second that he's going to do everything that he said he's going to do in my life. So I never feel a need to compete with Sean. We both have been writing books. He finished his first, and I am excited for him. I am happy for him. That doesn't make me feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to write my book, or he finished his and I haven't finished mine. And it's just like a part of the process, the journey, as Sean talks about in the book, that it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. And the fact that he finished his book is now, for me, I think iron sharpens iron, to answer the question specifically. Now that he's finished his book, it's proven to me that like it's possible I can get it done, because he works a whole lot harder than me. So if he did it, clearly I don't have an excuse. So Michelle, Sean, you want to answer this question?
Yeah, so when will the book be available? The book is available now. So you can actually go to my Instagram page, which is Demetric, Demetric .woods. And you could click on my bio and go directly to the book. So it's on Amazon, or if you go directly to Amazon, you type in God and type Demetric behind God, it pops right up.
Yes, and so there's his Instagram there, but also I put the Amazon link in the description box to this video. I also I included his Instagram handle and his website all in the description box as well. I did not include your LinkedIn because I'm unprofessional and I don't have a LinkedIn. I'm going to change that. But do you want to share your LinkedIn or any other social media platforms you're on?
Yeah, so specifically, the business is on LinkedIn. So again, Demetric Woods, and you can find my LinkedIn very, very easily. So specifically, there's two LinkedIns. One is day-to-day role, and then one is identify leadership. Of course, you want to go to the identify leadership LinkedIn.
Yes. We definitely push each other, sometimes indirectly. And I'll be transparent before we get back to your tagline and the name Identify Leadership in and of itself. There are seasons. Sean has been very successful in his career, which is why there is nobody better to write this book than Demetric in terms of how to be a leader in life, but specifically in your purpose, in your workspace, in your entrepreneur, whatever area that is. Because I mean, Sean gets roles and opportunities and open doors where I'm like, little me, I'm over here just, driving kids to the school drop-off line. And there was a season when I was like, well, when is my turn? What am I doing? And not against him, but just in my transparent conversations with God, like, okay, but I think in this space, in this season, our marriage, Sean is very honoring toward me in that, like, hey, it is because of, the way we work together that I've gotten these opportunities, or that, like he mentioned, that I was able to finish the book. If I do something big, that's because you better believe Sean is making some sacrifices. I'm over here on this YouTube channel because Sean is the one working 80 plus hours a week, right? And same as he mentioned with his book, he's finishing his book because while he's having late nights writing, I'm doing the dinner and the bedtime and all the things, and we just support each other in that way. All right, so let's talk about, I see Kendall put something here. Oh my goodness. Tell your wife to stay out of the analytics. She is doing an amazing job following her purpose, and we are waiting on her book too. Thanks. I do need you. I need to go back on another fast because I'm falling back into a hole of like every time I pick this phone up, I'm checking analytics. So I am going to do better. But Sean, let's talk about identify leadership, because I feel like your whole purpose behind your company is really, was really the driver for now this book. I think you took your heart for your company and put it into this guide for your reader. So why identify leadership? What does that name mean?
Yeah, so identify leadership, of course, I sat at the kitchen table. It's a very funny story, but I want to tell the whole thing. So I sat at the kitchen table and I wrote all these names on a sheet of paper, and we just kind of checked them off one by one. And Yasmin really helped me with that. So identify leadership is really identifying the leadership within. Specifically, again, So one of the slogans our business has is titles are temporary, purpose is forever. So right, so if we all think about it, the title president sounds great, and those titles are sometimes what we chase, and really realizing that you really want to chase purpose and not necessarily the title, right? Because the title is only going to be for a moment, but your purpose is actually what's going to live far beyond that title. So one of the things that I share in my book, right? So if you think about someone who maybe went to school and spent 8 years in school that said, hey, I want to live, I'm going to be in this profession. However, they get out of school and they do absolutely nothing in that profession. And it's simply because they really didn't tap into that purpose, right? So also, someone who has a very fancy title throughout their career, and then they, maybe retirement comes, or, maybe at some point they have to do something different and they're absolutely lost. Again, it really says that, hey, you really maybe didn't tap into your purpose and what really God has for you. So specifically, that's the background and the reason for the name. And what we want to do as an organization is really to align your position with your purpose, right? So you don't have to feel okay just because you have a title or a name that may sound good. Again, president or vice president or senior vice president. You can have just as much purpose in the position that you serve in. So one of the things that I talk about a lot in the book is with me and my leadership skills is I am a what I call a servant leader. So part of my leadership skill set is I like to serve others. And what I do for specifically my team or someone that I'm serving is really to break down those barriers or those challenges and those roadblocks to really get someone exactly where they want to be. And going back to God, that's exactly what so many people has done for me over the course of my career. So I share in the book that God really sets people in each different place. You're going to be at each different point in your life. I can remember when I was an intern and I was starting my first engineering job, and I said, I don't know exactly how I'm going to get through this. God set a man of God exactly in the same office as me who really helped me accelerate my career far beyond that I would ever imagine. And still to this day, if I'm going to make a key decision, that's the person I call and talk to. So really, that's what we want to do as an organization. Again, it's really to get those who want to grow. Again, whether it's your personal life, whether it's your career, whether it's your business, and really partner. And what we want to do is provide value. We, of course, we're an organization, but no matter what you're paying, you need value. So we want to provide value so you're effective at exactly whatever you want to do. Again, whatever space you serve in. I know that's long. Thank you.
No, that's good. That's helpful. And for me, just knowing the backstory to identify leadership and the context of your book, again, I just want to say that this it's like if you could take everything that your company does and put it in a accessible format for, accessible financially, accessible just in people able to get access to it in general, like this book does that. It's like you can get all the great value that Identified Leadership provides in this book. And I love
Yeah,
and the
and
heart behind
that's
it.
one of the things that I also want to say is don't be afraid to have a coach, right? So we talk about whether it's a spiritual coach like Yasmin may serve or may serve in the space that she's serving in. But like for me, I've had many coaches, so I call it the coach's coach. So though I'm a coach in the leadership space, I've worked with up to 4 coaches at the same time, financially paying these coaches to really help me maybe see the things that I don't see, or what I would like to call those blind spots, to really help me continue to grow. For me, again, forever a learner. It's all about growing. It's all about moving to the next level. Um, so yeah, so that's something that we definitely share in the book.
So I want to come back to this. And you mentioned that there's a title, there's a chapter called Forever Learner where you go deeper into what you just described. But there is a lot of reactions to this. Titles are temporary, purpose is forever. So let me just say, I don't know where Identify Leadership is on this, but last I checked, there actually are some there. Do you guys still have sweatshirts and t-shirts in stock with that tagline
Yeah,
on
so
it?
yes. So actually, if you go to the website, those should still be available. So please visit the website, and you should be able to find those very easily.
Cool. All right, let's get back to some of these questions. Thank y'all so much. And if you have questions, y'all know I like to honor everybody's time. So I am going to try to keep it at an hour, but let me go back to some of these questions. I'm going to make sure some of them overlap. So y'all just give me a second as I find one that we haven't fully addressed. So this one is, what do you want readers to take away from your book? And the way the person put it was a little deeper. Like, what do you want them to feel and actually get up and go do after they've read Guide?
Yeah. So I think a few things that we share, or I share specifically in the book, is, again, what I want readers to do specifically is understand that though we all want to grow and want to lead in our own regards, it's also about serving others, right? So, specifically, this book provides value, again, to really help serve others. Again, I'm taking 15 years of lessons learned to say, I don't want someone going through the same challenges, same barriers as I did. And I want this book to specifically be a blueprint for those readers. So that's exactly what's important for me. And to understand that you're going to be guided by God. So, though I want to use this guide to really guide others, ultimately, God is all of our guides, right? So, just know that, again, going back to, we all want to be in a certain place. We all have these thoughts. We all have these ambitious ideas. But God is really going to set you exactly where He wants you to be and guide you in the right direction. So that's exactly what I specifically want to do with this book.
Awesome. Thank you. There people are responding to the coaching comment you made. To clarify, yes, Demetric does provide individual coaching, leadership coaching. So if you have goals, aspiration that you're working on in the professional arena and you want a coach, like when I tell y'all the way this Black man in America, this young Black man who didn't grow up with the access and opportunities that he's been able to create and provide for our family through the guidance of God, is the best person to lead you professionally. I really mean that. So I just want to, I'm not just saying that because he's my husband. I really, if I were seeking a professional coach in a professional manner or just my purpose and career, he would be my guide. I just want to clarify, I am not a coach. I am more of a prayer partner and an intercessor. But if you're looking for a Christian business woman coach, my love Daily Dale is in the chat. All right. So you talked about Identify Leadership a lot. You mentioned that you, in the book, like you're very transparent about challenges that you face. I won't ask for you to tell us the whole book, but is there, like, what was your biggest challenge that you faced as a leader or in the
Yeah.
context of your book?
So I think my biggest challenge it was So specifically, my biggest challenge is making sure that I'm aligning with God's purpose. Um, Ultimately, someone say, well, that should be easy. Well, not so much. Again, because I am so competitive, and I am, so I'm not someone, I'm someone who if I say I want something, there is nothing that, in terms of work ethic, in terms of motivation, in terms of just doing what I need to do to get there, I'm going to do it. And if that takes 36 hours in a 24-hour period, then typically I'm working at those things. Um, so really just understanding that, again, going back to understanding that life is a journey. And again, where I may think where I am is not good enough, God knows exactly where He wants me to be, exactly when He wants me to be there. And ultimately, I think it goes back to that the challenge for me is the mental challenge, aligning with God's purpose. And really, what's helped me is really starting to just be more intentional about reading God's word. That's really helped me get in a space to where I understand that. And I'm not letting the outside influence of the social medias and the pictures and the glitz and the glam really affect that.
I like it. And y'all, I know it might feel like I'm bragging about my husband. I'm not at all. I do just want to like honor you in this moment though. When he says that he's gonna work 36 hours in a 24-hour period, um, he means that I feel like he's actually done that several times. That renewing your mind piece, babe, is very important. It's just like being in the mindset. We talk about it all the time, just how you're mindset dictates your actions and your actions dictate your outcome. So that is thank you for just being transparent about what a challenge that has been to keep your mind in the right
Yeah,
place.
and one of the things that I do share is in the book is wife or advice from my wife. So one of the things that Yasmin has like almost beat into me over the years is Maya Angelou's "Nothing will work unless you do," and I share that actually in the book. And really, for me, that's being the change that you wish to see. So that's something that I continuously really try to strive for and try to work for.
Yeah. We have a good question from Jordan. How do you discern between your own personal ambition and God's will for you? That's a great question. We both can take a shot at that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I shared with my team last night was specifically about the business. And sometimes my team could sometimes maybe they think I'm a little harder than I should be, because again it goes back to that I'm the 36-hour guy in a 24-hour period. And so one of the things that I share with my team is um, I'm doing this specifically because God told me to do it. And it lives in me every day. Like I can't get it out of me. It's in my head, it's in my heart, it's in my spirit. And it's not in my spirit, my head, my heart for any gain. It's specifically to help people, specifically to add value to someone else's life. For me, that's my ministry in the earth. Um, and I really want to share that gift with other people.
Yeah. And so, oh my gosh, I had so much to say in response to that, and I just went completely blank. So your ministry in the earth, really wanting to help it. Oh, the can't get it out of you part for sure. That is like clear sign of like this is God, Jordan. And when you're willing to Demetric's point, you're willing to do it for nothing but the glorification of God, but the fulfillment of like, oh, I am doing the thing God created me to do. Like that, there is no amount of money or clients or resources that can give you that edifying feeling of walking in purpose. Like, I love to talk about Jesus. I love telling women about Jesus. Y'all know the YouTube journey has not been an easy one, and as much as I don't like editing and the hours I spend like on a single video, like I just can't imagine not doing it, not sharing these videos. I just can't. So that's how I know. So I agree with Sean there. That's how I know that it's God. And I also know that anything that is a good idea is God. It is like God is a creator. So God is he's the God of creativity. He's the God of good ideas. So when you're doing things in life and you get a great idea, or it's like, oh, that sounds awesome, I never thought about that, or nobody's doing that, or that would be good, or that's powerful, and everybody's responding to this, whether it's your kids, whatever your purpose is, your kids, your husband, your family members, it doesn't have to be like on a platform. If you're getting all of those reactions from yourself and others, then we shouldn't credit ourselves for those good ideas. That is God, and that's how you discern that if it's a good idea, then it's God, because we're not capable. And so that's how I start to, or how I've lately been discerning, is this me or is this God? I just humble myself enough to say, there's no way I could have come up with that. There's no way I could have done that. So it has to be God. I know Sean has the book guide that I think will help you further explore that question. And, God can speak to you through his work. I also have 2 videos on purpose that just might be helpful as well. So you're knowing like, oh, God is saying this is my purpose. And that'll help you discern, is it just me or is it God? I know I'm talking a lot. The last thing I want to say to that, Jordan, is like when you get to this place of competitiveness and like comparison and just not being grateful for where you are and what you have, even though it doesn't look like someone else, that's also a clear sign that you stepped out of God's will and now it is about your personal ambition. I hope that that's helpful. I could go on about it, but I'm not being interviewed right now. All right, I don't know how to take this off. All right, have we gotten other questions? Sean, as I go to the questions that were submitted on Instagram, I think we've gotten through all except one. Are there any other things you want to share about identified leaderships or about guide specifically?
Yeah, so specifically, again, what I would like to say with the book is please feel free to share with others, right? So what we want to do is really be a guide for those who may be at each different level of their life, and no matter where they are in the journey, I think this book can definitely help. So specifically with identified leadership, what I would ask is please visit the website. There are tons of resources also on the website. Specifically, there's ebooks that you can actually go and read. It's absolutely free. We also have a podcast called Let's Grow Together. So we like to bring on different entrepreneurs or different business leaders in a lot of different spaces, and we talk about all things leadership, whether it's home, families, spouses. We talk about all those things, so you can actually also subscribe to the podcast absolutely free, and it's available wherever you go to get your podcast.
Okay, I'm going to put Let's Grow Together in the chat. Y'all forgive me. So that's the podcast. You talked about coaching. You talked about the website. I've totally forgot about your free ebooks as well, y'all. So he just been over here writing, and I'm still stuck. But it's all right. I'm coming. God got you, girl. I'm getting together. This has been very inspirational for me, Sean. And I hope to any other aspiring writers or whatever your purpose is that it's been helpful to you to just do the thing. Just do what God told you to do. It's his bill because he told you to do it. So he's gonna make a way and open the door.
Yeah, and lastly, I would say please share the book on your social media platforms. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Please share the link to the book. Um, go buy the book for your teams, someone in your family that may be again looking to grow. Let's share, share, share.
I'm sorry, I'm responding to El Dejean's point. I'm so sorry. Yes, y'all share. And then the last thing I want to say, because we didn't get into this, is I know a lot of Demetric's passion for this work and developing leaders, helping people, guiding people to identify the leadership within themselves is just being oftentimes the only Black young male in the many spaces that he's been fortunate to go in. And, he's not like me in that, like, everything is about race for me. But I do just want to say that is a big piece of his work. Not that his clients all look like us, but know that if you are that individual and you're like, man, it's hard out here, I don't have an example of anybody who's done this, know that a lot of those thoughts and that very experience is what has driven Sean to do the work that he is doing now. So, yeah, babe, if you don't have anything else to say, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and sharing about your book. And I want to say congratulations again to you. Y'all can contact him on Instagram, demetric.woods. And and all his information is in the link. Or if you're like, girl, where your husband at again? What I supposed to do? Of course, you can DM me at Yasmin_Williams-Woods. Got anything else, babe?
No, thank you. Very humbling experience. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, you did well in a room full of ladies. Good job. Grateful for you. All right, y'all. Good night.
Thank you.